tackle.
Yeah, second set of 6. They're under a lot of pressure. Warrington have to really muscle up now, trying to keep them out.
Clare will play the ball, and this is Andy Lynch again. And Lynch trying to back his way to the line. Ratchford is all over him. You play the ball to Milner, who'll bullet the pass to Ellis again. Solid defence from Warrington in the early stages of this match, though. To be fair, they've been under the cosh from the very first minute, really. Here is Liam Finn, ball back on the inside.
Boy, he's gone very close there, hasn't he?
He has. It's young Reynolds, and the chance here for a try from dummy half, but no, Warrington's goal line defence is good. And it will have to be again now here, because Finn gives it some space, and a little drop of the shoulder by Ellis. He throws the ball out in a speculator. It's picked up by James Clare, but Joel Monaghan does well and brings him down. Here is the last tackle for Castleford. That's off the boot of Ratchford. It's going to be another set of 6 here. It is, and Reynolds has retained possession for the Castleford Tigers. What a start this is.
Certainly is, Eddie, and they were very fortunate with the kick. It really should have been a lot better than that, but they've got the second set. And I must say, they really are rampaging to the Tigers now.
They are, with Milner, and he's beaten one tackler there, but he can't beat Chris Hill. And Ellis goes in at dummy half, and a looping pass finds Lynch, and he then gives it to Finn, and Finn to Haraki. And Haraki gets it away to Reynolds. That was again touched by a Warrington hand. It is another set of 6. Is it here? No, maybe not. The referee says the tackle count will continue.
They've got to get a better kick out here of the Tigers now.
And this is Jewett.
Liam Finn's got to be the key factor.
Here he is, it's on the last, and there is the kick. Just over the top, looking for the big men. The ball has dropped, it's dropped, and it has been pounced on by Wheeldon. And here's the first of the video referee decisions of the night, because James Child is not quite clear how this ball has arrived in Wheeldon's hands, Stuart Cummings.
And that's it, it's all about the knock-on in the air, who touches the ball. But first of all, we've got to check the kick. It's come from the kick from Liam Finn, so we've got to make sure that everybody's onside from the kick. That'll be the first thing to look at. Here we go. They've all got to be behind the line, behind the kicker, and they are. Everyone's onside, all the chasers onside, so it'll be play on from this. We'll be able to go through to the challenge in the air. This is the all-important bit. Who does it come off here? Well, it looks like it hits Stephen Ratchford, and then does it go on to the Castleford player coming through? Could that be where the knock-on is? So it certainly comes off Stephen Rashford first. It seems to hit the arm of, is it Mariano going through there?
Well, it certainly looks as though it has come off Ratchford on the first instance, but has it touched Mariano?
Well, that's the big decision the video referee's got to make. Does it come off Mariano?
It's going to be a big
forward?
decision, this.
Yes, a knock-on, they have ruled.
It's a great kick, though, isn't it? I guess it was a 50-50 call. It's gone against him. Just, I think there's agreement. It does make some contact with Frankie Mariano before. I think there's a knock-on over the try line anyway. The ball wasn't grounded from what I saw there. But it's a dangerous opening for Warrington to invite Castleford to that part of the field so early on.
So Warrington, really, with 4 minutes on the watch, have got the ball in their hands for the first time, and here is Stephen Ratchford.
Well, it's a great relief there for Warrington, and that's a good run there by the winger, Joel Monaghan. He's got the experience. They knew they were under the cost. They've got to get into a good position. Make sure that the kick is spot on.
O'Brien, there's some pace in this Warrington side. Harrison operating at prop tonight, goes down 40 metres away from the Castleford line. Saints are 6-0 up against Wakefield. O'Brien with a little kick that drifts over the top. A horrible bounce. It picks up by Atkins, and Atkins will score for the Warrington Wolves. Well, they were under the cosh early, Warrington. The first time they had the ball in their hands, they get over for the try, and Ryan Atkins scores it. But you have to feel sorry for Ben Reynolds. The kick over the top, it bounced awkwardly for him. It bounced backwards towards Atkins. He was the one quickest to react, and Atkins goes over for the try. His 12th of the season.
It was a good kick, though. Nicely chipped over, and as you say, do anything about that at all. He got the lucky bounce as well, did Atkins. Just a little chip over. Absolutely superb though in the end.
Well, it's a determined start from Warrington. Firstly, when they've been asked questions on their own try line, they come up with some huge defensive efforts. And then the first set of 6, they match Castleford 100 metres, then come up with a try through that man Ryan Atkins.
Yes, Atkins, the England international, 250th career game last Saturday, as you've just seen. He has missed 2 of the last 4 in Super League, but in the last 6 that he's played in Super League, he's scored tries, so that run now extends to 7.
That's right, you know, it's quite possible that either of these sides could actually finish as the top after 27 rounds, as the league leaders at the end of the regular season. And I think a win here tonight could well be the catalyst for that. We don't know which team it's going to be at present. Some of the Warrington supporters think that their side will win by 30 or 40 tonight after the disappointment of last week. And they have started quickly in attack, and with a kick like that, well, they're going to score some points.
Yes, they are. Chris Bridge adds the extras. You're right, either of these 2 sides could sneak into pole position, could finish in the top 3, could finish as low as 6th. That's how it is in 2014.
And they were very fortunate, weren't they? The Warrington Wolves, that could well have been given the try to Wielden. But the kick over, Reynolds could do nothing about that, and Atkins got the boot to it, got the lucky break. Well, from real pressure, we did well there, Ratchford, to get that. That really bounced away from him at the last moment.
So Warrington are ahead by 6 points to 0. 8 missing for Castleford from the semi-final lineup. 3 more positional switches as well. They've obviously got next week on their minds, but Powell says they've come to play, and the opening 4 minutes prove that.
Well, they also had a similar side at Easter without some of the star names, and yet they were still good enough to beat Warrington by 40 points to 6, which might be one of the reasons why Warrington are so motivated today. When they're embarrassed by a side earlier in the season, very often the return match is a payback time, and it looks as though it could be that from a Wolves perspective tonight.
This is Michael Monaghan. He gets the ball away to O'Brien, finds Chris Hill, who is the runner for him. Mariano and Ellis haul the big fella down. This is the last one coming up for Warrington. O'Brien with a high hanging kick, and Tansey goes after this. Tansey has dropped it. It's with Waterhouse. The ball goes back, and in the end,
back to 6.
Michael Channing got there quickly. It is back to 6. There was a knock on, and so it's now with Simon Grix. And can Castleford's young side withstand this pressure?
Not the best there by Jordan Tansey in the end. They've got the overlap back on the inside.
Rhys Evans trying to use his power to get over the line, but 4 men there to halt him. Monaghan waits. They're 1.5 meters away from the line. Here is O'Brien, fires the pass to Bridge. Bridge then gets it away, and the ball is lost. The ball is lost by Ratchford. And I think you'll notice that Ratchford actually playing in the centres tonight. He's not operating at standoff as he was named by Tony Smith on the official team sheet.
Well, Smith has a habit of changing things at the very last minute. And to be fair to the Warrington coach, he's trying to look for something a little bit different. Remember, they've been in the doldrums of late. And I don't know, I always feel that Ratchford is better positioned in the standoff, but as you've mentioned, Eddie, working out on that right centre today.
But to be fair to Chris Bridge, he's played really well in the standoff role whenever he has been asked to play there.
He's been absolutely exceptional. As soon as he gets his hands on the ball, Chris Bridge, something seems to happen, as this is the case with Stephen Ratchford, and Tony Smith won't be too disappointed that they turn the ball over in the corner, because last week it was all about the mistakes they made in their own half, turn the ball over in the opposition's quarter and defend really hard.
The most important thing for Tony Smith, though, remember last week against Leeds in the semi-final, they were really battered up front. The forwards really did not respond, and he wants them to respond tonight. And I think it's a good move by bringing in Chris Hill and using Ben Harrison at the prop forward. I think Harrison will come into his own playing in that position up front.
Russell with a good carry forward. Here is Joel Monaghan. Now Westwood for Warrington. Ben Westwood, a late try last week. Rested for the Super League game in Perpignan. Hill, O'Brien, and Waterhouse, and he flings that forward. Well, it's been brought back. Tansey thought he was off and up and running, but the referee's whistle had gone.
Yeah.
Now, did he apologise there, Stuart? Could that have been the free play or not?
Well, not really, because if it had been a knock-on, he could have let it go, but he'd called a forward pass. So you call a forward pass as soon as the pass goes. You don't wait to see an advantage.
And to be fair to James Child, the official, he raised the arm and said, I'm sorry, I had called the forward pass before the knock-on.
So let's make it clear, there is no free play from a forward pass.
Well, technically you could do, but you know the referee tends to call a forward pass as soon as it is passed, rather than waiting for an advantage after that.
Fair enough. 10.5 minutes gone. Warrington ahead 6-0. Castleford, though, very much in this Super League match, despite the fact that they have rested so many stars. I'm surprised, by the way, that Andy Lynch isn't one of the stars who has been rested tonight, the skipper, because Craig Hubie is a huge doubt for next week. Listen, this fellow is vital to Castleford.
Eddie, Andy Lynch wants to play. He's that type of player. He would have been disappointed if Daryl Powell would have said, I'm resting you. I want to play, I want to get out there. And he's such an important factor for this Tigers outfit.
And here's another set of 6 coming up for the Castleford Tigers. Courtesy of that little kick that was tried to be slid through the defence. There was a foot that was pushed out towards it. So James Clare takes the second tackle. It was a foot, I think, from Ben Westwood.
Yeah, it was. Not the best from Jamie Ellis. And, well, the 2 little grubber kicks have really not come off for the Tigers.
Good defence there.
On both occasions, they've had the ricochet.
Liam Finn into centre field to Lee Jewett. What a signing this fella's been for Darrell Clark, by the way. Lee Jewett, he's just signed a 2-year extension in the last month as well. And Ellis handed down by Ratchford and Chris Bridge.
This kick's got to be a lot better. Maybe give it a bit of height rather than for the grubber. No, they've gone for the grubber. They've got the bounce. That's good work there by Matty Russell. But that is wonderful defence by the Tigers.
Yes, it is. They forced the goal line dropout. He'd be delighted, will Daryl Powell.
Just a lot of enthusiasm that they're playing with. And you talk about Andy Lynch. He's the man who chases up here. And I'm sure that he's knocked on the coach's door early on in the week saying, don't rest me. We're joint third in the table. I know we've got a big game next week. Just keep me playing. He's playing with that much confidence. And the rest of the team around him seem to thrive off that.
Well, you knew, don't you, Terry, in regards, you never wanted to have a rest. You always wanted to be out there and for the full 80 minutes, I might add.
That was a long time ago, that, Steve-O.
That was almost damning with faint praise, Terry, there. But I think we all know what he meant.
I did have a smile on my face.
This is Lynch now again, the man we've been talking about for the Tigers. And Adam Milner missed out last week. 23rd appearance of the year, though, his 12th start at hooker. Ben Reynolds, only 20, second Super League appearance of the year. Don't think we saw the best of him in the defeat at Wigan in Super League earlier in the season. That's good hands from Haraki. Gets it away to Michael Channing. Good defence, though, from Rhys Evans. Finn brings it back the same way. They're looking to attack down this left-hand side of the Warrington defence. Good work again from Evans in that department. There is Channing, and he finds Flynn. Flynn slips the grubber kick through, and it is Chris Bridge who comes to the rescue.
Yeah, good work by Bridge. He really is alert, and that's a much better kick there from Liam Finn. There was no doubt in my mind that Daryl Powell would leave the kicking man Liam Finn out of this game tonight. He knows that he can control it. Haven't got Mark Sneed out there, so the responsibility on this guy is so important.
And Scott Wheeldon will take it forward again. He's met fair and square by Ben Harrison.
He would have felt that as well. That was a big hit by Harrison.
Remarkably, Warrington's 6-0 up, but it seems to have been Castleford for the majority of the opening 14 minutes of the match.
Warrington only need one chance, Eddie. They get that one chance, that one opportunity, and they'll score a try.
Ellis gets it to Reynolds again. He's taking them on down that left-hand side. Ratchford saw to it with Westwood that he wasn't going any further. Here now is Ellis. Ellis with the pass to Finn. And Finn just changes the direction, skips past a couple, does really well, gets them to within 11 metres of the line. Now Milner.
It's a shame there. He did some great footwork to create a hole, but there's no play running into it.
Last tackle here, so the kick from Finn.
Knock on.
It was a knock on by Ratchford. Unlucky for Ratchford that, because he dropped on it like a Premier League goalkeeper. We'll see plenty of that on Sky Sports from tomorrow. He just lost it there. It just hit the ground, just went out of his grasp.
Yeah, he anticipated well, didn't he? The fine player is Stefan Ratchford. For all the qualities, beautiful pair of hands, and of course the great step and dummy.
What's his best position? Full-back, stand-off, centre? What do you think?
Stand-off, as far as I'm concerned.
Wherever he touches the ball the most, he's a very, very skillful player. He's a real asset to this Warrington side, Eddie.
Well, 4 different positions in the last 4 matches, and another switch of position tonight from last week. He was stand-off last week, playing this evening in centres, despite the fact that he was named to partner Gareth O'Brien. Here is Wella Huraki again, who's come back from suspension tonight and has looked lively in the opening 15.5 minutes. Channing and Finn, and the pass into the arms of Jewett.
The Tigers realise they've got an opportunity to be selected in the squad for Wembley, of course. So that's a reason why they want to play well tonight. Oh, he did well there. Nearly went to an obstruction, but just got back on the inside.
Tansey. And Lynch will have a pop at them again. Milner is directing the traffic. He says it's going that way, and that's exactly the way he does. Finn to Tansey. Oh, and it was off the fingertips of Channing. That's the 0 tackle, because Warrington have got the possession back.
Well, I think they wanted to just cut out Michael Channing, and he stuck the arm out. See, it was going to be a long one right out to the winger. He didn't realise that he was going to be utilising the dummy runner.
Salford doing Hull Kingston Rovers themselves, and witness a favour at the moment, leading by 12 points to 4 against the Catalan Dragons, who are currently 7th in the table. It's a real fight for the playoffs this year.
Interesting move there by Warrington. On the second occasion that they've got through.
From Monaghan, he has support with him. O'Brien is the man, and O'Brien goes over for a try. They seem to me to have had the ball in their hands twice, and they've scored on each occasion, Warrington. As Terry O'Connor said earlier, they only need the ball once in any stage of the game and they'll score, and that's what they're proving here. O'Brien with the second try, but the brilliance of Michael Monaghan created this.
Absolutely wonderful by Michael Monaghan. It was a mistake by the Tigers. It really was meant to just go out to the winger there. Instead, Ben Reynolds had moved on the outside. And from that, you can't afford to take a dummy from this guy. He's all experienced, Michael Monaghan. He's a key factor in their run to hope to get back to Old Trafford for the grand final. Kept his cool, back on the inside. Good support from O'Brien. That'll lift his confidence, and boy, are they 2 young lads happy? You bet your life they are.
Yes, because they can see Old Trafford coming into view. Warrington aiming for a 3rd Old Trafford appearance in a row. Yet they have lost 3 of their last 4 matches coming into this. The last home game, they were unpicked by the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats. But we expected some sort of response from them tonight. And although they have been under the cosh defensively, they've defended their line well. And when they've had the ball in their own possession, they've been very quick to exploit the opportunities that have been presented to them. Here is Bridge then to make it a 12-0 advantage. And that's exactly what he does. And it's an uphill battle for Castleford now.
When anyone runs at you with the ball in 2 hands, you don't know whether they're going to pass the ball or they're going to take it on. The danger of Michael Monaghan is when he gets out from dummy half. He's such an intelligent player. He passes that ball inside to Gareth O'Brien at the correct time. And Darryl Powell, they'll be happy with the start, Eddie, but I'm not sure they'll be happy with the scoreline.
Tell you what's fascinating, we're playing just over 18 minutes. Castleford had twice as much of the possession, in fact more than twice as much possession, Eddie. You talk about play the balls near the opposition your line, you said how well Warrington had defended it. They've had nearly 9 times as much play the balls close to the opposition line. Just look at the difference in territory. I know you don't have to be close to the opponent's try line to score it, but just that's a phenomenal difference and a mark, Eddie, of just how well Warrington have defended in the opening 18-19 minutes.
Well, Ben Westwood will have to leave the field of play because he has got claret all over his face. He really took a bang on the eye, and that is one heck of a split. That's not just going to stop automatic. I think that will need a couple of stitches. Either that or the magical staple gun. And it was a collision, wasn't it, with Adam Milner, and completely split the left eyebrow.
You're so graphic in your description, Steve-O.
That's going to ruin old Benny's modelling contract, that.
Needs a new shirt.
Well, look at him straight away. Just give me a new top, let me back on the pitch.
Yeah, I think you'll need a little bit of tape around the eyebrow, though. So Laithwaite will come on and replace him. Here is Paul Wood, who's come off the bench for Warrington. He gets them almost to the halfway line on the last tackle. Bridge then hoists the kick downfield.
He was put under a lot of pressure. Oh, you can't afford to let it bounce. And Tansey,
he's lucky to get away with that.
Yeah, he certainly is. Remember, Warrington scored their first try when they got the bounce. Poor old Ben Reynolds just couldn't get to it.
This is Jordan Tansey's first appearance since the Magic weekend. There was nothing much magical about that. And interestingly, Tansey given his Super League debut by Tony Smith for Leeds in 2006.
Well, he knows, this Tansey, that he really should have gone for that on the full, allowed it to bounce, and that's the reason why the Tigers are struggling to get anywhere near the halfway line. This will be the kick and the chase, and that's good defence by Warrington. Tony Smith, their coach, will be very, very happy the way they've done. Remember, Phil Clark's told you about the positional sense and, of course, so much possession that the Tigers have had, and yet you look at the scoreboard, it's 12-0 against them.
Solid run from Rhys Evans. 14 tries this year from Evans.
Well, you can see they're expected to be far closer. The first try, I suppose, you can excuse because of that lucky bounce, and then the brilliance here. Warrington do look up for this game, and I suppose they're being tested here now. They're going to stretch the ball. I don't think they've played as well in the opening 20 minutes of any other game than they have this season. That's a reflection of what happened in last week's cup match.
Well, you see the key performance indicators saying it should be a tied match at the moment. That's because of all the possession that the Castleford Tigers have had, and Tansey has come up with another awful error.
Well, I can't believe that. It isn't as though he's put under a lot of pressure, and he knows it. He really should have taken that. Maybe it would have been better to have just dropped on the ball. He tried to take it up on the half volley. He was put under a lot of pressure, and he really should have just dropped it. Well, he did drop it, but drop his body on it.
Well, Steve, Jordan Tansey started on the wing, and Ben Reynolds, from his first mistake early on in the game, he's now shifted in place of Jordan Tansey. What will Daryl Powell do? Will he now change Ben Reynolds? Would he put him back at full-back, or will he leave Jordan Tansey there?
I think he'll stay with Reynolds on the wing.
There's a great offload by Atkins. Here is Joel Monaghan. He escaped the net of Mariano. It was a good job that James Clare was there. Here is Laithwaite now. Unlucky to be left out last week, Laithwaite. So, and Monaghan just directing the traffic, saying, get in there, get forward, get up there. Matty Russell now, bouncing around, running laterally, getting away from the first challenge from Ellis. Can't get away from the next one from Mariano and company.
Lovely to watch, isn't he, the fullback, Matty Russell. Got a wonderful step and dummy.
Chris Bridge delays the pass to O'Brien, and he tries to go inside.
A bit high there.
And it was a bit high.
Yeah, he stepped, and the arm was already swinging.
Quick tap, keeping the pressure on with Paul Wood. And Michael Monaghan at dummy half. Fires the pass to Bridge. Easy for Bridge. He's not given it yet. He wants to have a look at the possible obstruction, Stuart, in the build-up.
Yeah, Castleford player just managed to get himself in the line. I guess the decision for the video referee is, did he actually interfere with play, because he was quite away from there. I think the defender stopped coming across. I think it's, is it Hill?
Yeah, it's Chris Hill that was coming through.
No obstruction, and only one look. just one look. It's a good cue for a song, isn't it, if I remember rightly?
And that's all it took.
And it wasn't the Hollies, it was the video referees.
Yeah, a little bit too high there by Wielden. Gave them the impetus and give them the opportunity. That was a nice step, wasn't it, by Bridge? So much talent out there on the Warrington outfit. And it knocks the onslaught by the Tigers early in the game as just about ready to fold.
A try resulting from the first penalty of the game, but all the pressure coming about as a result of the mistake by Jordan Tansey. Bridge. Ooh, he's just scraped that inside the upright. 18-0, Warrington leading.
It's an amazing turnaround, isn't it, Terry, in regards to that?
Yes, Steve, whether it's Michael Monaghan, Chris Bridge, Gareth O'Brien, Stephen Ratchford, a half-back running at a big man. Wella Haraki just goes, takes that step too far, and it leaves Scott Wielden with too much work to do inside. Chris Bridge, they've got so many talented players, Warrington. You'd love to see them play with a higher completion rate.
Well, Warrington here in the opening 24 minutes appearing to be bucking the trend of Challenge Cup semi-final losers in the 7th season since the final return to Wembley. Beaten semi-finalists have found it a bit tough going the following week. 8 of those losing teams lost again the following week, but Warrington did buck the trend again last year. They won, believe it or not, at Castleford by 40 points to 30. Here they've got the home game against Castleford. And at the moment, although that was an interception by Channing from the attempted pass by Michael Monaghan, at the moment Warrington are winning this quite easily. But the possession is very much in Castleford's favour. They just can't do anything with it.
No, it's the problem is that the Warrington defence has been pretty solid. But you've got to give a lot of credit to the coach, Tony Smith, as well. He realised that they didn't want to get into a forward battle. As I mentioned before the game, you know, Castleford have got a pretty good heavy 6 out there, and they want to keep the ball alive. It's good tactics by that man.
Here comes Finn again. He just feigned to pass to his right-hand side.
Who's going to take the responsibility for the kick?
Haraki is there. He gives it to Ellis, and Ellis slides it in, but Bridge had read the script perfectly. Ooh, and Bridge, I think he cracked his head on the surface then as he slipped. Looks a bit groggy.
And again, that's the second time that we've seen Bridge read the game well.
You know, I haven't watched what Castleford have done over the last 12 months to improve as a side, but I think they must have put a massive amount of time into the attacking kicks to trap their opponents in goal, to cause more problems, to score more tries from that area. It's such an important part of the game, really, and as Chris Bridge sadly leaves the field here for some sort of injury, could it be the right ankle?
Yeah, it looks like it is. The pitch a little bit greasy. I thought it was from that collision with Tansey's knee that he felt a bit groggy, but obviously you don't limp from the field because you've had a knee on the side of your face.
It was great reading by him, wasn't it, defensively to deny a try, but again I want to go back to the accuracy and the skill of some of the kicks that Castleford have put in here. They don't have a point on the scoreboard, but they've obviously done well this season because more often than not their attacking kicks have given them a reward.
And this is the third goal line dropout that Castleford have forced tonight.
Yeah, and the big problem that they had was the fact that the man that normally should be kicking, Liam Finn, found himself having to play the ball on the last. Just lost the pot slightly there, did the Tigers, but they're still in this game. They know that if he can get over the line, sort of just put a little bit of doubt in this Warrington defence, but at the moment, it's quite brutal.
Yes, it is, but that's a big blow, losing Chris Bridge. He immediately left the field. I think Mickey Hyam, rather, there he is, number 9, is the man who's replaced him. So here is Wielden, denied that early possible try. Here's Liam Finn. Gets the pass away to Tansey. Tansey just couldn't get through the primrose and blue wall of defenders.
Pretty well organised, the defence as well. Look at that wonderful straight line. No one's coming out of it trying to stretch that gap. No, that's a beautiful pass.
It is, lovely pass.
Oh, he scored.
Has he scored, or what's happened here? It's James Clare who is in mid-air. when he attempted to plonk the ball down. Of course, the corner post doesn't come into it, Stuart, does it? It's where the ball ends up on the line.
That's right. The corner flag doesn't count as being touching goal as it used to do if someone's in possession of the ball. So it's all about, does he stay in play? It's certainly a great effort.
What a great try this is going to be.
It is. I think he's got that down, and I think his feet are in play. Yes, just before the touchline. This will be a try.
Fantastic effort this from James Clare. Airborne as he touches down.
Well, that's what they needed. They needed response. And what a tremendous finish by this fella. Airborne into the corner. And that's been a good introduction of a new rule, the interpretation of it. Because we've seen so many unbelievable tries since they changed it where the corner flag does not come into it. That is brilliant.
That's a quality ball. Just have a little look at Jamie Ellis and Liam Finn here. He goes into contact, he gets rid of Mickey Hyam. Jamie Ellis, he just does enough to get Michael Monaghan interest. That is world-class finish. That is quality.
And as the Premier League season kicks off this weekend, that's going to be a great example and perhaps argument for those referees and officials who would advocate a video technology being introduced to the Premier League. It was a quick decision. We couldn't make a determination with a naked eye, but we got to see it quickly, and we got a score from the result of it.
He hasn't kicked a goal yet for Castleford this season, Liam Finn. He still hasn't. But he's kicked in his career that's taken in Halifax, Wakefield, Dewsbury, Featherstone and the Tigers and Ireland at international level 772 goals. You won't see a better try than that scored in any game, any year.
You're right, Eddie. Magnificent. Wonderful finish.
Well, they're on the board, courtesy of Clare's try.
And with a finish like that, Eddie, he must feel pretty confident that he'll be in the squad to go to Wembley next Saturday. Or should I say, a week on Saturday.
No, oh yes, a week tomorrow, okay. Yeah. 12-0 the Saints over Wakefield.
If you were Tony Smith, what would you be thinking of? Because that field position was given up to Castleford from Michael Monaghan's pass. Would you be saying, rein it in, don't throw that 50-50 ball when we get it? If we play through our sets, defend really hard. This, again, is a good kick.
It's a great kick. It's just not quite made the 40-20.
Yeah, but it's an invaluable kick as far as the Tigers are concerned. That means that they don't have to cart the ball up through the forwards, save a little bit of energy.
Well, listen, Chris Bridge has left the field and Warrington have conceded the first try. Let's get news of him. Graham.
Yes, as you can see, he's not gone down to the dressing room. He's just having that ankle strapped right at this moment, so he is going to be able to come back on the field, Eddie. As far as Ben Westwood is concerned, he's down in the dressing room getting that cut sorted out, some stitches or some butterfly plaster on that stitch, on the eye, I beg your pardon.
Okay, so medical report from the sideline. Westwood and Bridge off the field. Laithwaite on, as is Ratchford here.
And I think you could see on that replay that it was Jordan Tansey's hip that actually made contact with Bridges' ankle. And that's the reason why he's had to leave the field.
Hyam finds Grix, who finds Ratchford, and wow, Wella Huraki, who finds O'Brien rather, and Wella Huraki didn't miss him. Grix again. Oh, he gets the ball away nicely to Chris Hill, and scrambling Castleford defence get Warrington to the last tackle.
He did well, Hill.
Mickey Hyam clapping his hands. Here's O'Brien again. High hanging kick from O'Brien. Try scorer Clare is underneath it. Ratchford timed the run perfectly.
Yeah, good composure there. Both Ratchford and Joe Monaghan made sure they didn't make contact before it was taken. Well, the one thing, as we keep saying, Tony Smith will be happy about their defence. They really have worked hard.
Yes, Tony Smith is the only coach to have taken two clubs to Old Trafford for the grand final. He won the Super League with Leeds for the first time in 32 years for the club in 2004. He's been close, but never has lit the cigar with Warrington. He's lost the last two grand finals to Leeds and Wigan. Is this going to be their year to be champions for the first time since 1955.
Well, the only problem that I can see is that if he can really create a strong half-back combination. Myler, of course, has been omitted tonight. So you just get the feeling that Tony Smith looking for, that is Myler.
But, you know, Mike, you could look at it another way. I'm not saying that I do think this, but is that their greatest strength? They're not like maybe a St Helens who are reliant on two players here. You see, this way through the match, you'd still expect Warrington to be ahead, but not by as much as what they currently are. They've been dominant in the areas. But having that variety, should injury strike them in the remaining 4 games of this season and the playoffs, they're less vulnerable to being one key playmaker taken out of the side.
Well, I think that he's got to be looking at the fact that he wants to have a combination that will get together for a long period, not every now and again, and we've seen it throughout this year. Myler's come up, Ratford's been at full-back. You know, it takes away the confidence from these players, so I still think that Tony Smith has a problem. He hasn't made a decision yet.
Gareth O'Brien seemed to be the answer early, then horses were switched. This is Michael Monaghan, gets it away to Ratchford. And Ratchford is halted on tackle number 3, but that's the Castleford goal line. Laithwaite turns the ball back to Paul Wood, and they deal with the threat to Castleford, but can they keep them out here with O'Brien, who feeds Waterhouse? Here comes the last tackle for Warrington. Griggs is waiting. Thought there might be a possibility of a penalty. Monaghan tries to flick the ball over the top, and does. He finds Ratchford. Ratchford off the outside of the boot. Tansey got a foot to it, and the chance has gone.
Well, at least they've been a little bit adventurous, and I suppose at 18 points to 4 you can afford to do that, because even if it doesn't come off, little kick through. Tansey was very alert indeed, but look where the Tigers are having to get this ball back into play. And the Warrington players know if they can keep them well down in their own half. Oh, that was a high shot. That should have been a penalty.
Oliver Holmes won't be arguing with you. Oh, great run by Mariano. He ripped that at pace. He's got support with him, but it's wide. Oh, he might not need it. Mariano gets to the post and he turns over, but he's held up.
He should have passed. He had a player on his left-hand side. He went for the glory and he's been denied. And he knows he's made the wrong decision.
Well, a combination of Rhys Evans and the post padding. But Castleford keep on coming here with Massey. And now that's the turnover. And Darryl Powell is frustrated, I think. He must be very frustrated that Mariano didn't pass.
He's livid, never mind frustrated. He cannot believe it. You know, that was a certain 6 points. That would have been right underneath the sticks. And he went for the glory himself, and he shakes his head and said, I think my coach may have a few words to say.
Could he 100% have got that ball away? Could he have turned his body and beaten the Warrington man? I'm not so sure he could have got that ball away. I know it looked like it, Steve-O, but it's easier sat up here and watching it. I don't think that pass was on for him.
It wasn't first time, Telly. I think it might have been second time when it made the initial break.
When he had to get rid of the full-back, though, Eddie.
I think he had, hadn't he?
Yep. Never mind, that went backwards. That's good refereeing by James Child.
Well, I'll tell you what, 60 seconds ago, he came on the ball from his own half like that train that you're frequently catching at the moment, Eddie, and you know what? If he does it again here now, he might end up back there. There's still time before half-time.
Does that route take us via Hull? I don't think it does.
No, it doesn't, but...
Hull Paragon, by the way, is the station in Hull.
As I say, we're only half away from Bankey. Now, that should have been a penalty. There's no excuse just because you get him up and then you drop him and say, oh, well, we didn't force him down. That is a dead-set penalty.
Stuart Cummings?
Well, you've got the lift there, and if you lift, you're responsible for how he lands. He's actually landed on his side, so you could say that he didn't land in a danger position, but it could have been.
Well, they haven't had a penalty yet. Castleford in 35 minutes of the match. Have Warrington been squeaky clean? That would seem to indicate they have. And there's only been two penalties in the match, and they've both gone Warrington's way so far.
And that was a good run by the hooker, Adam Milner. Put him in a good position. He wants to get on with it. That's good. Play the ball. Quick play the ball from the Tigers.
Finn again. off the outside of his boot, but Joel Monaghan read the script.
Oh, he's knocked on.
And he hasn't, he's held on to it somehow. Extended the arms.
Oh, he
kept
did
hold
well.
of it.
Yeah, talk about fingertip control there from Joel Monaghan. I think he did as well.
Yeah, he kept his hands on it, so that's not a knock-on.
Good offload by Waterhouse to Russell. Russell gets them over the halfway line on tackle number 3.
I really like the way that Matthew Russell is always eager to join the three-quarter line.
This is Anthony England. Anthony England, interestingly enough, he played under Darryl Powell at Featherstone Rovers. Michael Monaghan took another heavy bang last Saturday during the semi-final. Has said this is his last year in the top flight. This is a good kick. Oh, but that's very well claimed by the young man, Ben Reynolds.
Tremendous take under pressure. Did well to make sure that the elbow didn't go on the whitewash as well. Look at that. What a take. Well done, young man.
Haraki. Held and turned. I am all over him. And this is Channing again. Michael Channing, who has only played 2 of the last 11. Former London Bronco.
And again, lovely defence by the Wolves. They're struggling, the Tigers. Not a bad little kick through, but the ever-present, ever-man.
Yes, Monaghan to Monaghan, Michael to Joel. Joel gets Warrington back to halfway on that, the first tackle. They'd love another try just to increase the lead before half-time. Good run, though, from defence. Good rushing out from Lee Jewett. Michael Monaghan again. Paul Wood. Turns. Oh, throws the ball to the invisible man. Russell has to retreat. They're back where they started, on halfway, but that's a good offload. Here's Monaghan again. Great play. Great play from Michael Monaghan. A kick for Rhys Evans to chase. Evans almost got there too. Ben Reynolds, though, picks up the pieces.
Oh, tremendous play by Michael Monaghan. He really is a tremendous asset to this Wolves side. Did well to hang on to that. No, he's lost it. Ratchford picked it off. Picked it off his fingertips.
This is Hyam. Hangs on. So 6 more tackles from here. Laithwaite, short ball. Oh! England goes down like a tall English oak. Hyam, O'Brien. Here is Monaghan again. Oh, and almost found Tim Roby, the touch judge, rather than Rhys Evans.
Was this touched by a Castleford player?
He's claiming it is.
Not according to the touch judge and the official. He's already given the signal, as far as he's concerned, that it's going to be a Castleford head and feet, unless he changes his mind. Monaghan, such a wonderful player. Okay, 5 or 6 years ago, he would have gone on his own. He would have had the speed. The legs aren't, shall we say, as quick as years gone by, but such a wonderful player. You know, last season, he had so many injuries, I thought it would be the last that we would see of this man. But this year, it's been a revelation.
He has, but he said that the bangs he's taken to his head have taken their toll. This will be his last season. But he's a great player. Warrington will miss him. They've missed Lee Breers this year. They've missed Adrian Morley this year. They'll miss Michael Monaghan next year.
They're a very physical side. And over the last few weeks, I know that they had a blip last week, but the line speed has been incredible. They really have worked on that. They know that they can attack through the defence, hitting very hard under the ball and really pressuring the opposition.
Massey picks himself up and plays the ball. Finn again.
You've got to admire that, haven't you, there? They're still attempting to score here. Oh, there's a knock-on, but the hooter will sound.
Yes, the hooter, the siren will come to Warrington's rescue there. Tony Smith's on his way down to greet his players in the dressing room. Well, Castleford had all the ball early, and the Warrington faithful were thinking the worst. But after 5 minutes, Atkins scored the first try. Bridge improved it with the goal. Then O'Brien got a try after 17 minutes. It was only the second time almost that Warrington had their hands on the ball, but they'd scored 2 tries. And then just about 6 minutes later, Bridge added the 3rd. He kicked the goal again, and then Clare got one back for Castleford. 18-4 at half-time. And every try. Get your first look at them there. And there's 1 or 2 crackers to watch from this, and some belters from last night as well already. Warrington 18-4 up at half-time against the Castleford Tigers. The teams are out. We're just about ready to get the second half underway then. And on the blast of James Child whistle, Stephen Ratchford does exactly that. Kicks off. Can the Tigers come back?
Well, if they get the same amount of possession and field position that they got in the opening 10-15 minutes, okay, they failed to score in that period. But if they can get a second crack at it, you never know. They've got to make sure that they can get past this pretty strong Warrington defence.
Eddie, I just think they have to score first. It's as simple as that. That will then, I think, reinvigorate them and give them the confidence as well that which they've played so well this season.
Yes, the Castleford Tigers will look to score first, obviously. They're 18-4 down. 18-10, it would be very interesting, wouldn't it? Here's Jewett again for them, carrying the ball forward. It wasn't Jewett, actually, I beg your pardon. That was Will Mayer. He's 6 foot 8 inches tall, is Will Mayer, and he's on for his Super League debut. Salford are beating the Catalan Dragons 22 points to 10. That's intriguing in the battle for 7th and 8th place, and Saints 18-6 up in their game against Wakefield. Later scores from the 2 other matches taking place tonight. 18-4 here.
Well, a penalty given away, and a smile all over the face of Simon Griggs. I think he may have lost it, but got the benefit of the doubt.
I think maybe Oliver Holmes did have a hand in there. Here's Laithwaite.
Be hard to see from this angle. Either way, the Wolves won't be complaining about it. Got to get the kicking game sorted out now, which was pretty impressive in that first 40. No, I think he just lost control of it.
Well, it's one of those tackles where they're tackling the ball, and if the ball comes out, the referee's got no option but to go with the penalty on that.
Then we send him to the opticians on Monday morning, Stuart.
Well, he didn't touch the ball. He was in the ball carrying arm. You're allowed to do that.
Well, we're having an argument now, are we?
24 years, nothing changes.
Waterhouse.
Oh, good offload, yeah.
Here is Wood. Warrington looking to score first here. Oh, Wood gets the ball away. O'Brien had actually got his back turned. He didn't notice that. He didn't expect it.
Well, he thought the tackle had been completed, and he was telling his outside back this is what he wanted to do. Maybe they'll go on the short blind side. Look a bit light there to the Tigers. No, it's coming open.
And with Monaghan and a short ball to Griggs. Michael Monaghan and O'Brien just pops it up to Paul Wood. Jewett and Holmes there with Tansey to stop him. 4 tackles gone. Hine with the pass and O'Brien with the fumble.
Yeah, just dipping at the vital moment. O'Brien couldn't get down quick enough for it. See how it just dips a little bit low there.
Right, let's get the half-time news. We're seeing Tony Smith there. Wonder what he said at half-time. Graham?
Well, quite simply, they want more control of the game. They want exactly how they've started in the second half, more possession of the ball, and want to take it from there. They have got some bad news, though, Eddie. Chris Bridge, his hamstring has tightened up. He's not going to appear at all for the second half. So Chris Bridge out for the rest of the game. Darryl Powell of Castleford, they want to speed the ruck up. He said he's tweaked 1 or 2 things. Feels they've been a bit unlucky, Darryl, and are still very much in this game, Eddie.
Yeah, they are in the game, only 14 points. He's right, and you're right, Graham. 4 minutes of the second half gone. Here's hands in at the play the ball by Laithwaite. It's a penalty to Castleford. This will help the Tigers.
Yeah, and I think it's the first of the game that the Tigers have got. So they've been in control, haven't they? Warrington in defence. They really have behaved themselves up to that point.
They have a brilliant swing-back switch play here, Casper, which they've used a couple of times this season when they get a tap penalty about this part of the field. Look as though they're going one side of the field, bring it back to the other, and have really scored some spectacular tries. Did they have it in the locker today?
Oh, they have. That was it was a forward pass. from Ellis. Must have been a call from the touchline.
Yeah, I think it's the man with the flag that gave him the nod. Not a bad little switch, as Phil Clark mentioned, and they were coming back on the inside, but I think you can see that the way that the Ellis had the arms and the fingertips coming through. Good option, though. The one thing that really has been a feature of the Tigers this season is that the ability of the coach Darryl Powell to utilise set plays like that. No doubt that we'll see plenty of that at Wembley.
It's the movement of the ball, Steve-O. Playing the game at pace, not just preempting the plays, play what's in front of you. And then Jamie Ellis has controlled the game today for Castleford. As the offload, the referee calls Helton, comes back to Stephen Ratchford.
Monaghan gets the pass away. And England will pick himself up and play it to Mickey Hyam. He finds O'Brien then to Russell. And Russell is held, but then he's put on his back by Liam Finn.
Warrington don't have to panic now. They know they've got a considerable lead. Just got to camp down there, and that's a great run from Wood. Yes, he's put himself about, hasn't he?
He has. He's looking for a penalty there as well. Looping pass finds Monaghan, Michael that is, and he finds Joel, who loses his footing completely, and that was on the last tackle. So that's the turnover. Salford looked like they might have beaten Catalan Dragons.
That's a poor end to the set from Warrington. Looking for that long pass, looking to get Joel Monaghan maybe in a one-on-one, but he's got to finish the sets off a touch better than that. That's not what they'll be after.
Warrington harassing the ball carrier at every opportunity. Tansey, it was then. Oh, that looked as though it might have been forward as well. But Clare is away, and he's got Holmes, and Holmes has got Ratchford after him. And he went down after Rhys Evans stood his ground. Well, if they can switch the ball wide, they've got a chance.
Yeah, that's a free play because it came off the... They'll bring it back.
I think that's
him in offence.
He's brought it back for a penalty, has he? Or is it?
Yeah,
yes,
it's a penalty. Yeah.
Not standing square. So they've got a second penalty in quick succession of the Tigers. And it's Oliver Holmes, and he's over the line, but I think he might have got this down. He has got it down. The reaction of the Castleford fans told you it all. Warrington looked like they were going to push him back, but Oliver Holmes snaked out the arm and plonked it down over the line, just what they wanted. And from a neutral's point of view, just what the match wanted. Well, Holmes and Castleford scored first in this second half.
They never got a penalty in the first 40. They've got two already in this second half, and they've made a good use of it. They see not standing square, and it came well off the mark, didn't he, Brian Atkins? Also, you can see that Mickey Hyam was stood behind him, but this is sheer strength from Holmes. They had the numbers there, did the Wolves, but what about this? Here it comes. Here it comes, slow motion, and that is confirmation. That is a wonderful effort.
Yes, he got that down despite the attention of 4 or 5 Warrington defenders all over him. So Liam Finn, he hasn't kicked a goal for Castleford yet. He has now. First one of his Castleford career. 7-7-3 in the career as a whole, but 18-10 to Warrington. Castleford first blood, second half.
Well, this is the danger of Castleford. I talked about Jamie Ellis running at the line and playing the game really quick. Not making the players, the outside players, whether it be James Clare on one side or whether it be Ben Reynolds on the other, they can't break the stride and they just play on the front foot. And the confidence that they have now, I'm sure Castleford believe that they can win this game.
And you've got to take your mind back, Terry, to the fact that, remember, Warrington in a good position, and they failed to kick on the last. They actually went for the power play, and that would not have pleased their coach, Tony Smith. As I said, they were leading 18 points to 4, and that's where you've got to utilise the kicking game. Into the in-goal area, and they got caught. Gave away 2 penalties and allowed the Tigers back into this game.
You might remember in the recent match against Hull, they were a similar scoreline down, and they came back, did Castleford, at the KC Stadium, and they went home with the share of the spoils in an 18-all draw. We had a 14-all draw on a thriller last night. What an offload that was. They're playing with confidence, Castleford. To be fair, they played with confidence from minute 1 of this season.
Yeah, well, we said the point, if they had the possession and, of course, field position, as they had in the opening 15 minutes, that's a great take by Russell, under a lot of pressure as well.
And it was very well timed by Jamie Ellis, by the way, because he allowed the full-back to drop onto the floor before touching him at all. And there it was. Here's Russell again, though, now.
And now it's the Warrington side that are trying to get into a pretty good position, because there's no doubt in my mind Tony Smith has got the message out. Hey, listen, fellas, when we get to the last, make sure that you kick it. And they've got into the opposition half. This is where the kick has to be, right into the corner.
Well, Westwood is keen to get back on for Warrington. And that pass from O'Brien looked as though it might have drifted forward. That's a knock-on anyway, isn't it? It is. The referee will bring it back.
Well, at least they went for the long ball out wide, and they got the kick in eventually. Not a bad option. You can see that Evans was in clear space, but definitely a knock-on. No doubt about it from this fella Atkins.
Rhys Evans, 22nd consecutive appearance, a try in Perpignan 2 weeks ago. 4 tries in his first appearance of the year in the big win against London. He's got 14 for the season so far as Rhys Evans. He's burst onto the scene this year. He's always in the periphery of things, but 2014 has been his best year to date.
Eddie, your gut really told you, didn't it, at half-time, that Castleford had done better than what the scoreline was saying, and I think the stats have backed that up as well. You know, they really were a more competitive and closer side than what the indication was. They've made more breaks, they've made more meters, their defence has been pretty good, and we've seen how much more possession they've had. You'd actually expect them, normally in a game of rugby league that we've seen in Super League, to be ahead with the numbers that we've had. I suppose Warrington's brilliance in converting the chances has given them that lead, but every indication shows, and the energy, they had more ball first half, they've had more of the possession second half, got a great chance of getting really back into this contest.
They have, and Darryl Powell said they're coming here because he doesn't want to lose this match, but Liam Finn has just lost the possession there because he was just trying to get the kick away a bit too quickly, and the referee, will he now bring them back for the first offence?
Well, he should do. Well, it's very rare that you see that from Liam Finn. He took his eyes off the football at the crucial moment. Wanted to get the kick in. This will be the handover.
Frustration from Liam Finn. But Warrington, they lost possession as well, but they needn't have worried because they get the ball back because that was a free play and it was on the last, so it's the turnover, and Westwood will play it. And here is O'Brien. He finds Griggs. And Griggs goes down. Hyam comes right and finds O'Brien. O'Brien up the middle, taking Lee Jewett on, who I think I mistook earlier on for the big fella, Will Mayer, 6'8" youngster. He's not on yet, Will Mayer, I have to tell you that. Griggs wide to Evans. Great finish. Great finish from Rhys Evans. The Welsh international. And they produced the opening for him. And he was tight to the touchline himself. Yes, it's a try for Evans. 15 for the campaign now.
Yeah, good quick hands out onto that left-hand side, but it all came about by the big error from Liam Finn. Nothing wrong with the pass. You could see that he took his eyes off the football. Sheer frustration, but it gave them the opportunity. Darryl Powell not too impressed, and he's every right to feel that way because Liam Finn, his kicking game this season has been outstanding, but they just let the side down there. That was a beautiful pass, wasn't it? And Evans sneaking in at the corner.
It's just the movement that they have and the width in which they're playing. Griggs, he does everything right because he isolates Castleford's centre, and then all of a sudden just an accurate pass out to Rhys Evans, who's holding very good shape on the edge, and he knows that as soon as he catches that ball, that's a try.
Well, the T that you saw him indicating is in support. The Warrington supporters, players as well, helping a Tiny Temper Foundation, which is a local child with a cerebral palsy illness, and great to see Reece supporting him in that campaign.
Change of kicker, Stephen Ratchford, because Chris Bridge is currently off the field with that ankle injury. Being watched closely by the Mickey Hyam mask right behind him. And looks like it's got a chance. Oh, I think Mickey Hyam, the man, Mickey Hyam, the mask, will be impressed with that, and Chris Bridge leading the applause. Some talent sitting on the sideline for Warrington, not selected tonight. Asatazi, Myler alongside.
This is good play, though. It really is a combination there of Mickey Hyam and Michael Monaghan and Griggs with the final pass to the winger, Rhys Evans. That really will have just lifted the spirits on them. And I must say, the one thing that I've got to applaud, the way that these Super League players, that they really do a lot for charities, don't they, Eddie?
Oh, they do, absolutely.
They give their time for no payment whatsoever.
And remember the Wigan game coming up on the 5th of September. They've got the Joining Jack charity night there with the legends who are playing in a curtain raiser. And the night before, we'll see Saints playing this Warrington Wolves side at Langtree Park, and that's a night that is going to be specially dedicated to prostate cancer and the Clatterbridge Cancer Centre, which is the local and brilliant centre that deals with that particular disease in this part of the world.
Well, I was cleaning my boots last night, Eddie. I haven't made the decision yet.
I was asked by one young man last night, Steve-o, what is dubbing? I know what dubbing is, I'm old enough, but the youngsters haven't a clue what you're on about.
Well, maybe they should get on the website. That's what you tell everybody these days. If you don't know it, just get on the website. They'll sort it out.
I thought it was a horse off a kids' programme.
No, that's Dobbin.
He is a prop forward, Eddie. And maybe that's how he used to run when he played.
What, like Dobbin?
Yeah.
Or Muffin?
Oh, it's hard to call a man a mule.
Oh, a little juggle there by Scott Wheeldon.
He got the impact as well. Oh, not the best. It looked as though he was going to do a duplicate, didn't he?
He had to stretch for that, didn't he, Liam Finn? Decent kick, though, but there were two there waiting for it. Russell took control of the situation.
Well, look at that defensive line. The defensive line from Castleford. You know that when Liam Finn comes up with a kick like that and he gets some depth on it, you can't stand back and admire it. That's when the hard work starts. Unfortunately here, Liam Finn, the man who kicked that ball, he gives a penalty away just for the second effort. Just holds on too long on Ryan Atkins.
Yeah, just lost the pot slightly under pressure. I must say that a few errors and a few problems with missed tackles from this Castleford side. That not many, but a few. But they have not disgraced themselves. Remember, is it 8 of the star players out, Eddie?
Yes, I think it is. Ratchford for Warrington. Joel Monaghan is waiting 15 metres away from the line to brother Michael. He gives it then to Laithwaite.
And Michael Monaghan is enjoying the fact that he's having to play his normal role in his early days at the scrum half.
Great try from Anthony England. Flat pass, and the Castleford defence just melted away. And the big fellow, Anthony England, over for his third try of the year. Ex-Castleford Junior Academy player in 2004, England. Here's the penalty that, I'm afraid, wreaked the havoc for the Tigers.
Yeah, Liam Finn never allowing the centre Ryan Atkins to get through it. And it's pretty hard to stop this fella. He's big, he's strong, and he's beefy. And England gets a perfect try.
And right next to the post as well, so the Castleford revival that was apparently underway when they got back to 18 points to 10 down has just frittered away 2 quick tries from the Warrington Wolves. And Liam Finn's penalty concession proving costly. Ratchford then. Goal tally all season's been pretty good, and tonight it's perfect, and this should be another one. 2 from 2. And this for the 30 points. And 30 points to 10 it is.
Well, Warrington have picked up a couple of fabulous props from the Championship. The talk was all about Chris Hill last year, and what about Anthony England? Your hooker, when he gets out, he wants a big man just to hit a line. Straight and direct, very aggressive run. I've been very impressed with him in his debut Super League season here for Warrington. Things have been excellent. Let's not forget as well, he's keeping Roy Asatasi out to the side, a New Zealand former captain and international.
Yeah, and again we saw quite clearly, and I'm sure that Darryl Powell is fully aware that the game is beyond them. They had a little bit of a flutter, didn't they, just after the restart when they scored that try. Oliver Holmes gave them an opportunity. Oh, they've come up trumps now, though. They've got possession.
They have a horrible bounce for Warrington, and Castleford have capitalised. This is Nathan Massey. And now Ellis. Here's Lynch and Finn. Solid defence from Atkins. There's no way through for Mariano then, and Ben Westwood saw to it as well. He was going nowhere. Ellis and Finn. Back he comes again to Andy Lynch. He bumps off Westwood, gives it to Mariano. Good defence from O'Brien.
He's impressed me in his defensive qualities, Gareth O'Brien.
Liam Finn. That's Reynolds. This is Tansey. Oh, and Tansey loses the ball.
Was it knocked out? That's
it's
the
one-on-one,
main thing.
I think, and it's a knock-on being given against Warrington here. One-on-one, a tackle steal, a ball steal. Castleford with the head and feed.
Yeah, he's got it right as the official, James Child. Ratchford not happy. And well done, James Child. Shut up, I'm the boss. No doubt about it. It was pulled, but it was one-on-one, and he thinks it went backwards. And you know something? On the replay, I think he might have got it right.
Well, it was very close. It's probably gone straight down to the ground, if anything, but the ball's come loose and he's gone with Castleford.
So Castleford with the chance with Ellis, and that is Wheeldon. Ellis again, and Liam Finn pulling the strings as he always does, gets the ball away to Reynolds. Short ball then to Oliver Holmes.
Great tackle by Mike Monaghan.
Reynolds once more. Massey trying to go through the considerable frame of Anthony England.
Now will Jordan Tansey link in out wide? It looks like he will.
That's Liam Finn taking on the line. Ellis again slides the kick through, and it is Matty Russell to the rescue.
Good position as well by the fullback. Anticipated the little dribble through. Look, very, very aware. Did the right thing. Don't have to be too fancy, just get rid of it.
So yet another goal line dropout that Castleford have forced. The 4th tonight. Ratchford gets it almost to halfway. And Tansey's underneath it. And here comes Wheeldon again. Breaks the first tackle. Good tackle then by England.
Nice step, wasn't it?
Was for a big man. Massey. 20 metres away. Ellis scheming, looking left and right, going into centre field where he finds Lynch. Lynch then gives it to Finn. Whoops, went without it. Free play. Atkins is quick. Oh, he nearly took it in, but he couldn't. It'll go back. It'll go back for the original mistake by Castleford.
Well, he tried his damnedest, didn't he? Pulled back Matty Russell. Nearly had it, then he did, then he had it. Good pick up by Atkins. Did well, one hand. Sucked in. Took the gamble. Once, twice, three, four, five, seven. Yeah. Nearly got the dozen.
Well, he got a place in the circus if he'd held on to that, wouldn't he? The juggling skills then. St Helens, the league leaders, are going to stay top. Ahead of the Wembley break, 36-10. They're beating Wakefield. And despite the fact that they've lost so many of their playmakers, that's an outstanding result for Nathan Brown's men.
Certainly is. As you say, with so many of their star players missing. Just as a point, Eddie, which circus did you go to with the jugglers? Did they always drop the balls, or...?
No, I said if he'd have held on to it, he'd have got a job at the circus. This is Mickey Hyam. Actually, that's where I first met you, at the circus. And you weren't in the audience, by the way.
Well, I must say, you had those big shoes and the big nose certainly helped.
Getting a bit personal, isn't it, lads?
The truth.
I thought he was talking about himself, Terry.
The truth sometimes hurts.
Kick into open space. Jordan Tansey waits. Mickey Hyam and Ben Westwood dealing with that particular threat.
The problem is, you look at the scoreline, you know, 30 points to 10, you think to yourself, well, this has been an easy road for Warrington. They've been made to work extremely hard. You know, some of the tries have had to be full of skill. A couple that they've just got the rub of the green, but the way that, you know, Daryl Powell cannot be disappointed with their effort.
No, he can't. It was what he intended. He didn't want them to come and get disgraced, and they haven't been at all.
Sometimes you learn an awful lot about your players when there's some key individuals missing and taken out of the squad. Other players have to step up, and whether that be Andy Lynch or whether it be Liam Finn, I think you learn an awful lot about the individuals that you're playing with. And Daryl Powell has rotated his side all year, and this is why they can come to Warrington and they can put in a performance like they are doing, because players, when they're given an opportunity, they know they've got to take the chance.
Well, we're coming to that stage of the season where we'll be looking for the individual award winners, and Daryl Powell's name is on everybody's lips in terms of Coach of the Year. Are there any dissenters, any dissenting voices up here?
No. He should be in front by a country mile.
What about Sean Wayne, who is guiding Wigan despite the loss of the likes of Sam Tompkins? What about Brian McDermott, who has got his men to Wembley with Daryl Powell and is up there nearer the top of the
Eddie,
table?
there's an awful lot of good coaches that we have in Super League. Daryl Powell has taken a team that were 12th last year. He's got them to a final. They're third in the table. He's totally transformed them. There's only one winner.
I agree.
Well, we'll see.
Do you want to bet, Eddie?
No. O'Brien. Westwood. And Hyam looking to pinch one from dummy half. He's got a remarkable record as Mickey Hyam in terms of scoring tries. 113 in his career. Nearly got another one then. Monaghan to Russell. Ratchford with a stroll in. Just had too much out wide, too many numbers. And the Castleford defence was swamped in the end. And Stephen Ratchford goes over for the try. I make it his 7th try of the campaign. That's his first tonight. 7 tries in all. He can also kick a goal. He can also drop a goal.
This was classy play. You know, when you utilise a prop forward like Chris Hill as the first receiver, and you know you've got the confidence and the ability of Michael Monaghan, who's enjoying the fact that he's having to play as a halfback. As soon as they brought on Mickey Hyam, and look at that beautiful pass, and the fullback linked in. Ratchford. That's a good team effort.
Well, Ratchford now has got the fairly difficult job of converting his own try from out wide on the right-hand side. He kicked a belter in the second half from the other side. So can Ratchford add the extras? And Warrington creeping up ever closer to the 40-point mark. They've scored 40 or more against Castleford. on each of their last 4 visits to this ground. It's the angle he's got, Stefan Ratchford. And here it goes. Well, he's an immense talent. An immense talent. Kicks from either side of the field. Ratchford's 6 points makes it Warrington 36, Castleford 10. Tony Smith will be delighted with the response that he's received from his men. They're not going to Wembley, but they will be back in Super League on the 28th of August. That's Thursday night. They'll be here against the Huddersfield Giants, Sky Sports 1. We've got some corking games coming up for you. The following night, Leeds take on Saints. That's the top 2. 7:30 Sky Sports 1 again, Friday the 29th of August, that is. Those 2, and then we've got plenty more coming up as well as we build up to the business end of the season.
Well, I think I'm right in saying that we'll see all of Warrington's remaining league games, Eddie. And we said at the start of the match, are Warrington good enough to finish at the top of the table? It's been pretty impressive tonight. But to do that, of course, they're going to have to beat Huddersfield, St Helens and Wigan. Now then, on the evidence of tonight, perhaps the confidence has come back. Last week would be a massive disappointment for them to get knocked out of the cup. But they do have possibly the 3 hardest games remaining of the season of all of the sides aiming for that League Leaders' Shield. But maybe that's the best way to prepare yourself for the playoffs and a successful grand final campaign this year.
Yes, might be 3rd time lucky for Warrington, seeking their first championship since 1955.
You just get the impression now that the Tigers are really running out of gas, looking a little bit tired, and you can see that the Wolves are getting over the advantage line considerably. Nice little run around.
Russell. Very well held that was by Ashley Gibson.
There you see Michael Monaghan organising things. He's got it.
And his brother now has it. He gets a flat pass away to O'Brien. That's a great tackle. Big hit in defence, that was. Tremendous tackle by Brad Day, the teenager just on the field. That ball went backwards. The referee says play on. Michael Monaghan gave himself up there, actually. And now the referee says it was a knock-on.
Yeah, I think he might have got an assistant out there on that touch line from the touch judge. Yeah, it looks as though he's lost control of it.
Well, Brad Day is on the field wearing 31, and at last we're going to get a glimpse of this 6-foot 8-inch giant from the Castleford Tigers. Will Mayer is waiting to come on. He's just on the touchline at the moment, waiting for the nod.
And you're right in calling him a giant. He is massive.
Well, Adam Lawton of Widnes is big enough. I think this fellow will beat him. Here he comes. A Cumbrian by birth, signed in December. The first player to graduate from the Rugby Football League's Regional Academy programme is Will Mayer.
Well, he'll have a chance here. Here he comes.
There's his first touch in the Super League.
Yeah, good tackle though, wasn't it, by the experienced Mickey Hyam. He wasn't going to let him go through. Neat little kick from Liam Finn.
But Joe
right
Monaghan had positioned himself well. Into the last 10 minutes. Warrington looking to hit the 40-point mark again against Castleford. This weakened Castleford side, though, has not been disgraced, has it? Not by any stretch of the imagination. That's a knock-on by Ratchford.
Yeah, not the best pass, was it? And he knows it. A little bit scrappy play there, but I suppose in many ways, when you look at the scoreboard, 36 points to 10, it's not the best from Michael Monaghan. Probably his first mistake of the night. Though my mind goes back to the intercept that he gave midway through that first half. But other than that,
he has got a great
superb.
Sorry, Mike. He has got a great ability, though, Michael Monaghan, of sending the defenders one way with the body, all the weight and momentum's on one foot, and then passing the ball back again to that floor, which is what he tried with Ratchford. Didn't come off, and his head nearly came off with that tackle.
Yeah, Harrison. Was it Harrison?
Ben Harrison,
yeah. Didn't miss him, did he?
Mariano now. This is Liam Finn.
Well, it would be just reward for the Tigers to finish off with a try.
That's Big Will. And he's such a big man, he's a difficult person to put on the ground and hold him there, and he struggled to get to his feet then, and he got the penalty from the whistle of James Child.
Well, his first carry was good, he attracted 3 defenders, and then this, he's run straight at Chris Hill, and he's managed to earn his side a penalty, so that's poor.
Scott Wheeldon loses the ball forward. So here comes Warrington in the shape of Ratchford, tiring Castleford defence now. That could have been a penalty against Andy Lynch. Wood to O'Brien, to Westwood. Oh, did he lose that, Westwood?
A bit of a wobble.
Well, he's lost his breath, that's for sure. The wind taken right out of his sails then, did Benny. Wood. Chris Hill. It's a solid enough performance from Warrington, though.
Yeah, he wanted a response to Tony Smith, and he's certainly got that. Remember, with all the pressure in the opening 20 minutes, that Castleford had all the ball, and their defence held out.
Monaghan again trying to tease an opening through this defence. There's Laithwaite to O'Brien again. Nice little slip pass, knock on, play on, 0-0, free play. Monaghan gets the 40-point mark for the Warrington Wolves. It's the norm when Castleford come to town. Joe Monaghan, Super League's top try scorer. That's 24 for the season.
Well, again, the error. Give them the opportunity. It was a kick through, and they couldn't snuff it out. That's a nice little dummy, isn't it? And a little step. We mentioned it 5 or 6 minutes earlier that there was a bit of a problem. They were running out of steam. Nice little grubber kick through by Gareth O'Brien. And Joel Monaghan, he knows where the line is, and only just got it there.
Well, he is the top try scorer in Super League. He didn't score last week, but that's 15 tries now in his last 11 games for Joel Monaghan. I'm a little annoyed that he's got the top try scorer tag at the moment, because I had a few shillings on him last year, and he failed miserably as far as I was concerned.
Well, I remember watching Matthew Fire score dozens and dozens of tries for Widnes and Wigan, and the thing that struck me about when you looked at Martins, where he scored his tries, weren't always out on the wide on the left wing. They were all over the field. And when you watch Joe Monaghan, he does a very similar thing. He seems to have a sixth sense which tells him when the ball is going to give himself a chance to be close to score. Now, you look at where he is here. He's on the right wing, the left of your screen, and yet something tells him, I'm going to drift in field here, because sooner or later this ball's going to come back to me. And if you imagine, just follow it through. Look, he's there now. There's 3 other players outside him, but he's the man who gets his hands on the ball. How did he know? What was it in his instinct that told him to drift infield? There was a chance and a try on offer.
Well, he's a try poacher, isn't he? He reads the game perfectly.
Well, it's like the greatest strikers in football, and they just know when to put themselves in the right position, and they hit the back of the net with it. He does the same in a rugby league equivalent.
You put yourself where the action is, and that's why he's been such a fabulous player in the NRL, and he is obviously here over in Warrington. He is a try poacher, but what he does coming out of backfield, for me, Phil, impresses me. The way that he takes the ball forward, wins tackle one, gets the forwards on the front foot. Very good player.
And as you say, Terry, is the fact that they utilise him as an extra forward. Whenever they kick forward, he always puts his body on the line.
That was a brilliant offload, by the way, by Ben Harrison. Found Mickey Hyam, who wins the floor quickly. This is Michael Monaghan. Oh, that's not his best kick.
No.
Straight into the arms of James Clare.
He got bumped up as well. He went in to finish him off and to get out of the way.
Oh, a problem for Ben Harrison. He's come away from that tackle, and he has put his hand up immediately, but he's still battling on there just the same.
Well, fingers crossed, he's just got a stinger. Again, he's holding his right shoulder.
That's 3 tackles on the bounce he's made.
How tough are they? He's hurt his right shoulder, he's hit the first tackle, Now he's going in for the fourth one. Incredibly tough, Ed.
Aren't they just? Different to your day, Terry.
Definitely.
Little slice kick forward by Liam Finn. That would have been an interception. Mariano was hunting that.
He can't believe it. It was right in the breadbasket.
He catches that, he scores a try, doesn't he? On Monaghan, I just don't think he could believe that he was getting such a good pass from Michael Monaghan.
Well, he sees the funny side of things, didn't he?
3 minutes remaining then. Warrington over the 40-point mark again against the Castleford Tigers. Warrington could sneak pole position. They could finish in the top 3 for a 5th year in a row. They could even finish as low as 6th. It's so tight in 2014. They're level on points now with the Castleford Tigers. And that's all a question of the points difference.
Yeah, and that's a reason why they're hunting even more points before the hooter sounds. They know it could be important. But 42-10 is pretty impressive.
Oh, still going. Look at this from Hyam. And he finds Rhys Evans somehow. And the referee says, we'll have a look at this again, please, before we give Rhys Evans his 2nd try of the match.
I think it might be given.
Well, again, is he onside when the kick goes through? Is there any interference on the defender? And is the grounding okay? I think they were the things they were asking the video referees to have a look at. Well, there's the kick going through. Bounces back nicely to Mickey Hyam. But there's no knock on there. That's the first thing. And still play on from that point. And is Rhys Evans coming from an onside position? I think that's the only thing they'll need to check now. Everything else seems fine.
He has grounded the ball, has he?
They've grounded the ball fine. It's just where he's come from on this last kick. Is he behind Mickey Hyam? James Charles in a very good position.
So Rhys Evans was in an onside position, and he takes his season tally to 16. Well, the scoreline is a little lopsided now, and you would be forgiven in thinking that this was a one-horse race.
Yeah, but it was good work by Mickey Hyam. Realised that Castleford very tired. Mariano really should have snuffed that out, should have dropped on the ball, but the second effort by Mickey Hyam, no knock on. Rhys Evans, 2nd try of the night. He'll be pleased with that, and I'm sure that Tony Smith will be a lot happier than this fella Daryl Powell, but he knows that a week tomorrow he's got a little bit of important business to sort out.
So Ratchford, and he's been impeccable with the boot both sides of the field. And can he just rub a little salt in the Tigers' wound here? Oof, and the answer is he can. That's a tremendous kick. 48 points to 10. Quiet satisfaction for Tony Smith after the disappointment of last week.
Well, Warrington in this game, they seem to have diffused a number of situations when they've had to defend, and Warrington are going to score 48 points past a number of sides during the coming years. And Daryl Powell, although it's not been their day today, it has definitely been Castleford's season. I've been mightily impressed with them.
Well, this result here tonight means that not only have Warrington joined Castleford on the points tally, the points for and against, the points difference means they'll go above the Tigers into 4th place in the table tonight. So they've hit the top 4, have Warrington. I know that Tony Smith won't be interested in anything to do with league tables between now and the end of the year, but the higher they finish, the better chance they've got of getting back to Old Trafford for a 3rd year in a row. And he has been at the heart of it. Mickey Hyam, whose testimonial year, months rather, 3 months, has been launched here tonight with the masks. He's played his full part as well. It's been a good all-round team performance from the Wolves. Castleford, they competed. The scoreline doesn't tell you that in itself, but you can only take evidence from what you have seen, and they were in this match for long periods. And they go to Wembley next week, and they won't be downhearted despite the fact that the scoreboard has been heavily weighted against them. And some good young players coming through at Castleford for the future, the likes of Ben Reynolds, the likes of Brad Day, the likes of Will Mayer, who have all had their first taste, at least Day and Mayer have tonight, of Super League action. The second appearance in the Super League for Ben Reynolds it's been. So I suspect that the coaches might be equally as pleased. Obviously, Tony Smith more so in the victory, but Darryl Powell won't be losing any sleep in the next week as he builds up to the Challenge Cup final. The man of the match here in the First Utility Super League tonight, though, he's a familiar man who picks up this award, Michael Monaghan with Graham.
Michael, congratulations, you're the man of the match. Just the way to get over last week's performance and last week's result.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a pretty disappointing week last week, and you know, it was a tough preparation this week. You know, with the chance that they were going to leave a few out, so you know, we had to knuckle down this week and make sure we come and played our best, regardless of what team they put out. And you know, I still thought they put up a pretty good effort, even with the amount of players they had missing. So, you know, good luck to them next week, and you know, for us, it's good to be back on track.
Yes, they certainly put you under a lot of pressure early on, and you had to defend really well.
Yeah, we did. You know, they're a well-coached team, and no, they played pretty smart. You know, they had a few changes, and they just kept turning us around and getting repeat sets, and you know, made us work. So, you know, I thought, you know, both teams sort of, you know, had a real dig, and you know, for us, you know, we need to build now. We've got one trophy left we can compete for, and you know, we're working hard for that.
You lost Chris Bridge, which was a blow for you, but Stephen Ratchford, he just can play anywhere and take over the kicking as well and do it all brilliantly.
Yeah, he can. You know, that's probably the bonus we've got with a few of our guys. You know, they can play a bit of anywhere, and you know, Steph filled in, you know, really well for us, and you know, hopefully Bridge is not missing too long. But you know, we've got blokes there. You know, Richie Myler missed out, so you know, we've got some cover there if he is. And I thought Gaz O'Brien was really good again as well. He, you know, adds a bit of calmness to us and a real good kicking game.
Congratulations. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Thank you. Cheers. Thanks. Mickey Hyam joins us. Well, Mickey, congratulations on the winning side. Just saying, that's the way to start a testimonial year, and the way to get over last week.
Yeah, that's enough rugby now. Let's talk testimonials. But no, a performance needed tonight. We need to bounce back and say testimonial on Monday. But this is more important than anything. You know, getting back on the winning ladder. And you know, we've got 7 games to go now, whatever it is, and got to try and put a good run together early on in the year. Yes,
a single focus. You've got some tough games coming up, but this was the way to start that run.
Yeah, what a great time. You know, we've got all the sides around us now. You know, if we can find some form and get some points against the teams around us, then you know, hopefully we'll be in contention. So it's just take it a game at a time, and especially the disappointing last week. That's gone now. Nothing we can do about that, and focus on the league.
Let's talk about your testimonial. Tell us all about it. What you've got planned.
Yeah, obviously it's a 3-month one been granted. Thanks to the Rugby League for that. Much appreciated. Obviously, been having a few clubs in the past. I've got question answers at St Helens, Langtree Park. Can't thank them enough for that. One at Lee Miners, my old amateur club. Lee Miners Ladies Night, sold out, I'm sorry. Due to popular demand, I think Matty Russell's getting his chest out, so that's sold out. A couple of dudes in Warrington, Ladies Night, Girl the Ball, usual. Calendar's coming out, bit of a James Bond thing, so are you James Bond fans? You know, something, a stocking filler, so I've got a few things in the pipeline.
And back on the field, you're going to have a right royal go as well, because matches coming up, including one against your old rival Saints. Yeah, definitely. Great running. You know, that just what we needed, really. Find some form against the tough teams. So hopefully we can do all right. OK, thank you very much indeed. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations and good luck with your testimonial. Darryl Powell is joining us. Darryl Powell, who changed the side around, as he has done quite a lot this season. And Darryl, you must have been delighted with that start to the game. You were still very much in it at half-time, and indeed at the start of the second half when you got to 18-10.
Oh yeah, I thought we had some periods where we were really good. We just we couldn't control their ruck speed really. You know, there were 2 ruck speeds in the game. There was the one we played at for most of the game and the one that they played at, and you know, it's a little bit disappointed with that. But the boys worked hard, and we challenged them. We put them under some pressure. You know, I thought the scoreline was a little bit harsh on our boys, but sometimes you got to cop that.
Yeah, you did. Are you pleased the way everybody adapted to the sort of set plays that you played? Because you've changed the side often this season, and that hasn't seemed to be much of a difference. It seems to have been a seamless change when players have been brought in.
Yeah, generally, I think we've been good, but you know, a couple of combinations we got thrown well out of sync today, and you know, we had Frank in the centre at one point, and Brad Day came on and did a good job for us, I thought, in the back row. So we were a little bit all over the place at times, but we worked hard and we played some smart stuff. Obviously, we're disappointed with the scoreline. You never want that. And like I say, I thought it was a little bit harsh on us.
How's everybody in terms of fitness now from the players that played today, looking ahead to next week?
Yeah, I think we're okay. I don't think there's too much in there that's going to cause us too much trouble. So we'll check on the boys next week, and you know, it should be a good week for us. Got a big challenge in front of us.
Darryl, good luck. Thank you, Richard D, for joining us. Thank you.
Yeah, good luck to Darryl Powell for what's coming up next week in the Challenge Cup final at Wembley against the Leeds Rhinos. He has had a fantastic season, has Darryl Powell. Made the changes tonight. They didn't let him down, but Warrington have won it in the end, and they have claimed their place in the top 4 of the table. And there's a big 7 games, as Michael Monaghan said, to come for the Warrington Wolves. And we're into extra time now. Super League extra time, looking back on a victory for the Warrington Wolves here at the Halliwell Jones Stadium against the Castleford Tigers. It's an easy enough looking win for Warrington in the end, 48 points to 10, but that really only tells half the story. Castleford were in it for long periods. Let's join Phil Clark for a look at the rest of the stats.
Well, Darryl Powell said that the scoreline didn't really reflect the way the game had gone, and I think the stats support that, didn't you? You expect the Wolves to have won this game by about 12 or 15 points. The fact they won it by more, I think, was a ruthless streak in them today. You know, Castleford were unable to make a break in the second half of the game, and their opponents made far more ground with them. But it was that defence, the tackle success rate from the Wolves, which was so impressive. If they maintain that level, they could well get back to the Old Trafford Grand Final.
What Tony Smith and the Warrington Wolves are aiming for, a third successive Grand Final at Old Trafford. Here he is now, the Warrington coach, with Graham Beecroft.
Well, Tony, just the way to get over last week, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, it was good to bounce back. We were a bit rusty there. We started in a similar way to last week. We defended way too much there in that first half, and but tonight we were good enough to handle that and then come away and score some points, and something that we didn't do well enough last week. So we learned some lessons. We usually do.
Yes, it was a good start by them, and as you say, you had to defend really well, and I suppose at the end of the day that was the platform for your future success.
Yeah, we didn't break too often. We had a couple of try savers as well on top of that, but we scrambled pretty hard for one another, and I thought overall our defence was pretty solid. But yeah, we had a bit to work on, and we'd chip away. We've still got a bit to work on there. I thought we were a little bit panicky with the ball at times, but at the same time I thought we scored some good tries and you know, created some options and opportunities as well.
Chris Bridge picked up a bit of a tight hamstring. Is it a serious injury?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a grade 1 in medical terms. What a hamstring tear, so hopefully not too long for Bridgie, and we'll have him back. And a couple of little knocks there. Harrison picked up a knock as well, but we're in pretty good shape. We've got a fair few people on the bench at the moment, so yeah, we're okay.
You've spoken about the single focus that you've got, and the games that are coming up are tough ones, no question about it. Knowing the players as you do, how do you feel they're going to tackle these next few games that are coming up?
Yeah, excited about it. We've all got to play each other, all the teams near the top, and you know, each week they've scheduled us to play against one another. So, you know, somebody gains 2 points and somebody loses, you know, gets bundled up. So just, yeah, we'll see how far we can go. We're pretty keen to finish as high up like everybody else, and you know, we'll see where we finish if we perform well. But yeah, it's about building up our game towards the finals, and we took a couple of steps there forward there tonight.
Tony, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thank you.
Reasonably happy, Tony Smith, by the looks of things and by the sound of things. That's his view on the match that we've just seen, the victory against the Castleford Tigers. I wonder what Brian and John have made of the second half and the game overall, fellas.
Yeah, thanks very much, Eddie. Some interesting answers from a coach whose team has just won 48 points to 10. I don't think they were convincing tonight. I think Tony Smith has made an admission of that. They've got so many more gears they need to get up and go on. 18-4 at half-time. The Warrington Wolves scored a try, the Castleford Tigers, to bring it back to 18-10. Wolves kicked on again through Rhys Evans. And then I guess, John, it was ultimately the Anthony England try, stretching it out to 30 points to 10, that put the game beyond doubt and beyond the reach of the Castleford Tigers.
This is the try we're going to have a look at. This was the try that put clear daylight between the two teams. Warrington never looked back from this point onwards. We said it was an inauspicious performance from Warrington. They're very scratchy for large periods of the game. This is what got them back on board. So let's have a quick peek at the reasons behind this try. Let's try and break this down a little for you. Well, Lee Jewett's the first man who gets himself involved in the tackle. He's actually late to get back. And there's Lee Jewett. And that's the significance of that becomes clear later. The other person we're going to have a look at the defensive line is Nathan Massey, and then the two guys on the Warrington side of things are going to be Michael Monaghan and Anthony England, who's the try scorer. Right, with all that in mind, let's run this on just slowly then and have a look at where we get to the key point in this. What I do like about this, first of all, is this line. This is uncompromising, and he's never going to stray from this line. That makes the ball player's job a hell of a lot easier. Because of the late retreat, Lee Jewett is not tying in effectively enough on the inside. And you've got, at this point, Nathan Massey, who is very, very worried about this line and any potential further ball playing off the hands of Michael Mon on the outside. So he goes a little early.
Worth mentioning as well that Mickey Hyam's done a little bit of work with Paul Wood, dropping him under. He's held up a number of players as well.
That ties up the markers, yeah. But it's Lee Jewett there who was the late retreater and the man who joined that defensive line on the open side late. And because of that, the combination of the two, Jewett arriving late and Massey going early, it's England who goes through. So we can look at that and you can say, okay, that's a mistake from Massey and from Jewett and a great line by Anthony England, and we'll take it to the other side, and that'll reinforce what we think we're saying from the start of it. So you've got that Nathan Massey here. Have a look at Nathan Massey, 13 on